Welcome to a Crypto 101 edition of Coffee, Eggs and Inspiration. In this edition, I'm going to talk through the incredible range of applications of blockchain technology that we're seeing. Not just the crypto coins themselves, but also DeFi, decentralized finance, DAO, decentralized autonomous organizations, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and some really interesting developing use cases that I'm really excited about. Let's go. As though the crypto world and blockchain weren't already complex enough, we're now faced with this ballooning set of acronyms that we now need to cope with. And in today's video, I'm just going to step through a few of the big ones, in particular DeFi, DAO, the various cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and as a bonus extra, I'll talk about some of the other applications. So let's start with just the basic sort of plain vanilla cryptos. Most people will recognize Bitcoin. Each of the coins, actually, the tokens underneath the protocols, have an acronym, kind of like a stock would have a ticker symbol. So Bitcoin is BTC, Ethereum is ETH, Cardano is ADA, and so on. So they're pretty much straightforward. They're just the name of the crypto itself. And then we start getting into new areas, and these sort of grew out of the Ethereum network, which introduced for the first time smart contracts. So people could write applications over the top of the basic blockchain technology, and that's led to an absolutely explosive growth in all sorts of applications, the most common of which is DeFi, or decentralized finance applications. So examples there are peer-to-peer lending, asset management, insurance. All of these have blockchain versions that operate on a decentralized basis. In other words, there's no intermediary or centralized function. The blockchain itself takes care of this. So that's DeFi, decentralized finance applications. The next acronym that you may hear of is DAO, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Now, this is a type of organization that, from a governance point of view, plugs into the decentralized protocols of blockchain and uses that in a slightly different way to how traditional, perhaps, companies or committees might. So a few examples here. A charity may accept donations and then use blockchain to vote on the uses of that money. Where should we spend it? And participants or trustees of the charity could have a vote connected with the token that the decentralized autonomous organization uses. Another example is, let's say, a group of freelancers who might do IT work, independent contractors, pull together and rent an office facility. And this might be a way of pooling their funds and contributing towards a shared asset, in this case a facility. Another example might be in the sort of venturing world, venture capital world, where members of the venture capital investment committee perhaps vote on which investments to invest the funds in. So again, another example of just using the basic tokenized, decentralized mechanisms of blockchain to, in this case, govern organizations. So DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. Then we come on to NFTs. This has been in the news recently, so probably you've heard of it already. NFT stands for Non-Fungible Token. So most of the big blockchain tokens, big blockchains have these tokens. In fact, all of them do. So Ethereum is Ether, Bitcoin is BTC, Cardano, ADA, there's Solana, Polygon, etc. The list goes on. I think there's 10,000 different types of cryptocurrency when I'm recording this, which is in February 2022. What each of these tokens have in common is that they're fungible. So I can exchange my Bitcoin for your Bitcoin on a one-for-one basis, and I don't really care. I don't have any particular attachment to that Bitcoin, just like I don't have a particular attachment to the $10 note or the £10 note that's in my pocket. I can spend that and I can swap it for somebody else's. It's a fungible token in that sense. A non-fungible token, clues in the name, is one that has a specific identity. And this has become popular in the art world, digital art primarily, where pieces of art were signed with a specific cryptographic reference, which gave them a sense of, I guess, provenance in some senses, like an artist would sign a painting, or perhaps there'd be a limited run of prints, each of which had a signature on it. So same sort of concept, just applied to digital assets in the digital world, non-fungible tokens. And NFTs are becoming increasingly popular. I would say we're sort of in the primordial dumb phase of NFTs, where just the cryptographic signature effectively is the thing that's used. But each of these things also, certainly if they're built on a network like Ethereum, have programmability features as well, and it will be very interesting to see the developments that come about there. I recently bought an album by the Kings of Leon, for example, as an NFT, and that gave me rights to an underlying asset, the album, and I think I got some sort of memorabilia that came with that. So lots of different uses, ranging from the sort of basic plain vanilla crypto to DeFi, decentralized finance applications, to DAO, decentralized autonomous organizations, NFTs, hitting the art world first, but they're going to explode. And what I think is even more exciting is what's yet to come, or is just starting to happen now. For example, in the music world, there's a new platform called Royal.ai, I think it's called Royal, or Royal.io, one of those two. I'll link it below. And there you can essentially become a record label, a mini record label, by buying rights to an artist's track. So Nas, for example, a rap artist, had a couple of his tracks for sale in late 2021 or early 2022, where he sold 50% of the royalties rights connected with those particular tracks, and you could buy a sort of fractional ownership in that 50% share that he was giving away, and effectively become a sort of mini producer or a mini record label. So really interesting possibilities there in music. Likewise in film, quite a similar concept actually. Film finance has been around as long as movies have, and it's difficult. If you've got a movie concept, it's difficult to raise money for it. Trust me, I've got a film production company myself. And what blockchain technology does, or a smart contract based technology does, is again sort of open up that possibility of fractional ownership, which is kind of like crowdsourcing funding. In this case for a movie, you've got lots of little mini producers who own a small fraction or shard of that asset. So that's a really interesting application in movies. And then the final one I'll leave you with is sort of sticky large assets. Think things like art or wine, rare cars, horses, even racehorses. These are things that are typically only accessible if you've got quite a significant amount of money to invest, and they're very illiquid, right? It's not easy to sell them. There's not a huge market. They're sort of rare items, and the possibilities of fractional ownership in these sorts of items creates liquidity. So I can sell a piece of my painting, but not all of it, and maybe even keep it on the wall. I sell a partial ownership right to it. And it also opens up new capital, people who haven't previously been able to invest in that asset class because they don't have the means. So for example, not many people would go out and invest in a $500,000 horse, a racehorse, but if you were able to buy a fractional piece of that racehorse, let's say $1,000 or £1,000, that becomes more accessible to a broader range of people. And the smart contract functionality underneath not only allows that sort of sharding, that fractionalized ownership, but it also, within the smart contract, can then be used to assign rights, whether they're sort of royalty rights for music or for film, or share of prize money for horses, for example. So this is the burgeoning and exploding world of cryptocurrency and blockchain. Hopefully that's demystified and decoded a few of the classic applications and the acronyms that represent them. Thanks for watching.